close your eyes for a moment. Not to sleep, but to see. For it is in the unseen, the imaginal, where life is first conceived. And yet, how often we allow the outer noise, the threats, the doubts, the fears, to become our master. But let me tell you something eternal. Fear is only the evidence of misplaced focus. You are not here to bow to fear. You are here to direct your awareness with precision and power. Fear only thrives when your attention forgets its authority. It feeds on the unknown, the imagined disasters, the what-ifs. But you must remember, your focus is a divine instrument. And when you point it toward truth, toward the end you desire, all lesser thoughts fall away. The world you see is a mirror, reflecting what you persistently hold within. If you dare to hold the image of victory, of peace, of abundance, and hold it regardless of outer appearances, then fear will have no place in you. Not because you fought it, but because you ignored it, you starved it, you chose focus instead. Do not ask, what if it doesn't work? Ask only this, what must I feel, believe, and embody if it already has? Walk as the one who knows, speak as the one who owns, move as the one who is. Fear is an actor. It performs only when you give it a stage. But when you focus, truly focus, on the life you were born to live, fear fades. Not by force, but by indifference. So I say, stop reacting, start selecting. Choose today what you will entertain and what you will ignore. Because when your inner gaze is fixed on the vision, when your soul sings the song of "it is done," there is no room for fear, there is only knowing, and the one who knows creates. So be still, be bold, be focused, and let the power that called you into existence fulfill what you have already accepted. Fear is a misuse of imagination. It creates what you do not desire, just as faith creates what you do. You were never meant to use your imagination against yourself. Yet that is exactly what fear invites you to do. Fear whispers stories not yet real, paints pictures of failure, loss, rejection, and pain, and convinces you to believe them. It asks you to imagine the worst, and in doing so it steals your peace and anchors you in a reality you do not want. But what if I told you the power you're using to create that fear is the very same power that could be used to create freedom? Imagination is sacred. It is not child's play, it is not a pastime. It is the secret place, the workshop of reality. When you imagine, you are planting the seeds of the world that will soon bloom around you. Whether you do this consciously or unconsciously, the process does not change. What you dwell upon within, your world reflects without. So when you use that sacred power to imagine things going wrong, to imagine the loss of love, the absence of money, the embarrassment of failure, you are not simply worrying. You are rehearsing energy into form through repeated attention. And then when these fears begin to materialize in fragments, you say, see, I was right to worry, but it was not your caution that protected you, it was your imagination that betrayed you because you misdirected it. Fear is faith in reverse. It is still belief, it is still imagination, but pointed in the wrong direction. You are believing in something you do not want, giving life to that which you wish to avoid. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot imagine defeat and expect victory. You cannot dwell on sickness and expect health. The mind is a servant to the images it is fed most consistently. And the body, the life, the outer world, they simply follow. Think for a moment of how easily you create scenes of fear in your mind, a delayed message, and your mind begins crafting stories of abandonment. A doctor's sigh and your mind rushes ahead to illness. A slow week in business and your imagination fast forwards to financial ruin. None of these are facts. They are assumptions. But because they are vivid and because they evoke emotion, they begin to take root. They form the structure of your inner state. And your inner state is the soil from which all outer things grow. Now take that same energy, that same ability to imagine, and turn it toward faith. Faith is not hoping. Faith is assuming the best, seeing the end as already done, and resting in that conviction. Where fear tenses, faith relaxes. Where fear imagines the collapse, faith sees the rising. And what you consistently assume in faith, just as with fear, will make its way to you. The difference between the one who walks in fear and the one who walks in faith is not circumstance. It is focus, it is discipline, it is choice. You are not powerless in this. You are not being attacked by fear, you are participating in it. And the moment you choose otherwise, the moment you begin to imagine the best instead of the worst, the moment you begin to feed your inner world with love instead of dread, everything begins to shift. The outer world may not change instantly, but your state will. And when your state changes, the world must conform. For it is not the world that shapes the mind, but the mind that sculpts the world. So use your imagination wisely. It was never meant to torment you, it was meant to free you, to lift you, to align you with the divine image of your true life. Choose faith, choose the vision you love, because whatever you focus on grows. And fear, my friend, is just the shadow of forgotten power. What you focus on expands. Your attention is the magnet of reality. What you observe within becomes your world without. There is nothing more powerful in shaping your experience than the quiet, continuous direction of your attention. You may believe that life is happening to you, that circumstances are fixed and reality is rigid, but the truth is far simpler and far more profound. You are shaping your reality at every moment, not with force, not with action alone, but with the steady gaze of your inner awareness. Whatever you consistently turn your attention to, you breathe life into. You nourish it, you energize it, you expand it, whether it's what you desire or what you fear. Your attention is not passive, it is creative. It is the touch of the invisible hand that molds the clay of life. Most people use this power without realizing it. They worry, they complain, they replay painful memories, and unknowingly they continue to give these thoughts energy. And then they wonder why they remain trapped in the same cycles. But if they could only pause and observe, they would see that life is echoing back their inner dialogue, reflecting their dominant focus, matching their most frequent assumptions. There is a quiet law that governs this universe. What you give your mind to, you invite into your life. The world is not selecting outcomes for you. You are selecting them through what you habitually notice, believe, and dwell upon. If you continue to focus on lack, lack expands. If you dwell on love, love expands. If you turn your attention to peace, peace becomes your experience. It does not matter whether you are thinking of something joyfully or fearfully. The mind does not discriminate. It simply creates more of what it is fed. This is why it is not enough to react to life. You must choose how you see it. You must decide what is worthy of your attention and what is not. Every time you dwell on what you do not want, you strengthen its presence. You rehearse it in your mind, give it detail, attach emotion to it, and in doing so, you extend an invitation for it to enter your world. But when you turn inward and begin to imagine only what you love, what uplifts, what fulfills, you plant seeds that blossom into your reality. This is not about denial, it is about dominion. It is about choosing not to be ruled by what the senses temporarily reveal, but to lead from within. You are not the victim of external things, you are the origin of them. They arise not by chance, but by attention. This is why some people remain in struggle while others seem to live in alignment. It is not luck, it is attention. So begin now. Start to notice what you consistently entertain in your inner world. Become aware of the patterns you repeat. Are you focusing on what you want to experience, or are you merely reacting to what you fear? Are you imagining success or rehearsing failure? Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a form of focus, and focus is magnetic. Direct your attention with love, with clarity, and with intention. Imagine yourself already in possession of the life you desire. Feel the reality of it. Let it become more real to you inwardly than anything the outer world can show you. Because the world outside is not the truth, it is only the reflection of yesterday's focus. Choose now what you will observe within. And know this, life will always show you what you most believe to be true. Focus, and the universe will expand it. That is the quiet power you carry. Use it well. Your inner state is the true cause. Circumstances do not matter. Your assumption does. You may believe that your life is shaped by events, by people, by timing, or even by luck. But none of these are the root. They are effects, echoes of something deeper. The cause, the true beginning of all that unfolds in your experience, is your inner state. That quiet feeling you carry, that assumption you hold, that story you repeat to yourself without even speaking. It is that which determines what you will see, not the other way around. Most people live in reverse. They wait for circumstances to change so they can feel better. They hope for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. But the secret is this: circumstances are only mirrors. They cannot show you what you haven't already accepted as true within. If you assume lack, life will prove it. If you assume love, life will reflect it. If you assume you are unwanted, the world will arrange itself to confirm it. But once you shift your inner state, the mirror must change. You are not here to chase external things and fix outer problems one by one. You are here to master the state from which all problems dissolve. When you dwell in the feeling of already having what you desire, peace, wealth, love, purpose, you become the cause, not to what you want. Not even to what you say, but to what you deeply believe is yours. Assumption is not wishful thinking, it is not pretending, it is a knowing so deep that even if nothing around you looks like it, you persist in the feeling of it is already done. You stop asking, when will it come, and begin to live as though it already has. That state, quiet, confident, unwavering, is the birthplace of change. This is why two people can face the same situation and experience completely different outcomes. One sees only limitation, and limitation grows. The other, from within, assumes abundance, and abundance finds them. The difference is not effort, the difference is state. When you shift the way you feel inwardly, even if the world hasn't caught up yet, you begin to move differently. You speak with more certainty, you walk with more peace. You no longer react to old patterns because something in you has changed. And soon, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that new state. Because it is not life that teaches you who you are, it is you who teaches life how to treat you, by the way you carry yourself from within. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are simply the residue of old assumptions. If you don't like what you see, do not wrestle with it. Do not fight shadows. Go to the root. Change the assumption. Assume not out of desperation, but out of divine right. You do not have to earn your desire. You have to assume it, feel it, embody it, and then patiently, faithfully allow life to bring the outer in harmony with the inner. The world is not your master, it is your mirror, and mirrors do not change until the one in front of them does. So do not ask life to show you something different, be someone different. Live from the state of the one who already has what they desire. Think their thoughts, feel their confidence, let their peace be yours now. And as you do, circumstances must follow. Because they were never the cause, you were, you always are. Fear dies in the presence of clarity. When you focus with unwavering intention, fear dissolves like shadows in light. Fear thrives in confusion. It grows in the fog of indecision. In the spaces where your vision is blurred and your mind scattered, it feeds on doubt and uncertainty, clinging to the cracks of your focus. But clarity, true clarity, does not argue with fear. It does not resist it, nor fight to overcome it. It simply shines. And in the presence of that light, fear cannot remain. You are never afraid when you are clear. You may face the unknown, you may step into something new. But when your intention is precise and unwavering, fear loses its grip. It has no hold in the mind of one who knows what they want and sees where they are going. For fear is not a thing in itself. It is the absence of direction, the absence of focus. It is the static that appears when your signal is weak. When you focus with unwavering intention, you gather your power. You reclaim the scattered energy you've given away to worst-case scenarios, to what-ifs, to the opinions of others and the noise of the world. You pull it all back to center, and you direct it like a beam toward the life you choose. And in doing so, you do not just feel stronger, you become unshakable. The world may still offer distractions, circumstances may not immediately align, but the one who holds a clear vision, a definite assumption, cannot be moved by the temporary. They are not led by appearances, they are led by inner conviction, and that inner conviction is the death of fear. Fear comes when you forget who you are, when you forget that the power to create is already within you. You were never meant to be at the mercy of conditions. You were meant to set them, to declare them, to embody them. But this requires clarity, not desperation, not wishful thinking. Clarity. The calm, deliberate knowing of what is yours. This is why those who achieve the impossible are not those who are fearless. They are those who are focused. Fear may come knocking, but it finds no one home. It cannot enter a mind already occupied by vision. It cannot interrupt a heart already filled with purpose. You must become so clear in your intention that fear feels out of place in your presence, not because you are forcing it away, but because you are too occupied with light to entertain shadows. Fear and clarity cannot coexist. One must yield. And the one that remains will always be the one you nourish most. So nourish your clarity, feed it with silence, with stillness, with imagination. Return to the vision again and again, not because you are trying to make it happen, but because it is already yours. Remind yourself of what matters, not once but daily, because the world will try to distract you, doubt will whisper, old patterns will call you back, but if you remain focused, they lose power, they fade. The path becomes clear when the mind is clear. And the moment you stop asking, what if I fail, and begin asking, what would I do if I knew it would work, that's when fear dies. You don't need to defeat fear. You need only to see past it. You need only to turn the light on. And the stronger your light, the clearer your purpose, the faster fear dissolves. You were never powerless, you were simply unfocused. But now with clarity you become unstoppable. Not because fear disappeared, but because you outgrew it. And that is all fear ever was. A shadow waiting for you to choose the light. Live from the end, not in doubt. Assume the wish fulfilled and persist, even when the senses scream otherwise. To live from the end is to claim your desire as already yours, not as something you are chasing or hoping will arrive. It is not waiting. It is not questioning. It is the quiet, unwavering decision to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. Now, you are not asking for something to happen. You are living from the reality that it already has. That shift in perspective is not mere positive thinking. It is creative law in motion. Most people dwell in the middle. They sit in uncertainty, oscillating between hope and fear. One moment they believe it might happen, the next they doubt everything. They keep checking for evidence, measuring progress, and questioning if they're doing enough. But that is not faith. That is fear. dressed in spiritual clothing. And fear never creates, it only delays. To live from the end is to shut the door on doubt. It is to become the version of yourself who already has the thing you desire. You think their thoughts, you feel their feelings, you speak with their certainty, not because the world has given you permission, but because you have given yourself the authority. And once you occupy that state internally, the outer must conform. It is not instant, and that's where many falter. They mistake the delay for denial. They let the outer world dictate their inner truth, instead of letting their inner truth shape the outer world. But what you must understand is that the senses are often the last to know. The transformation begins in silence, in stillness, in imagination. And if you persist, truly persist, without needing the world to confirm anything, it will unfold. Persistence is not forcing, it is not anxious repetition, it is not begging the universe to move faster. Persistence is quiet knowing. It is waking up each day and choosing again and again to live as though your desire is already fact. You aren't looking for signs, you are the sign. You are the embodiment of the answered prayer, even if no one else sees it yet. The senses will scream otherwise. The world might show you contradiction. It might seem like nothing is changing, like things are even getting worse. That is the test. Will you believe what you see, or will you believe what you've assumed? Will you surrender to appearances, or will you remain loyal to the unseen? Because the world is not trying to trick you, it's reflecting back your most consistent assumption. And if you keep reacting to the old, you prolong its presence. To live from the end is to stop reacting. It is to stop explaining, proving, waiting, or wondering. It is to declare, this is already mine, and live accordingly. Not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You understand the truth, that imagination is the root, and the world is just the fruit. Change the root, and the fruit must follow. This is how every transformation begins. Not with outer change, but with inner certainty. Not with evidence, but with assumption. And the assumption held long enough becomes experience. Discipline of focus is the key to freedom. A mind controlled by vision walks boldly, while one ruled by fear is tossed like a leaf in the wind. There is no greater power than a mind anchored in vision. It does not waver, it does not yield to the noise of the world, and it is not at the mercy of moods or circumstances. Discipline of focus is not about struggle or strain. It is about consistency. It is the decision, moment by moment, to bring your awareness back to the life you have chosen, not the life that is trying to choose you. For the undisciplined mind is like an open window in a storm. Every thought, fear, and distraction blows in and takes up space. But the focused mind is a fortress. It knows what belongs and what does not. To focus is to be free, free from reacting, free from the opinions of others, free from the endless loop of what if. The world tells you to be realistic. But realism is just the result of where most people place their attention. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to follow vision. And that vision requires discipline. Not just when it's convenient, not just when you feel inspired, but especially when nothing outside you is supporting it. When you are ruled by fear, you do not live, you survive. You drift. You make choices based on avoiding pain rather than creating joy. You hesitate, you question, you overthink. And like a leaf in the wind, you are thrown around by whatever external condition shows up next. This is not freedom. This is bondage to the temporary. But the mind that is disciplined in focus becomes unshakable. It walks through uncertainty with calm. It moves through chaos with direction. It no longer chases because it already knows. And that knowing is everything. It creates a silent power, an inner stability that no storm can touch. The person who controls their focus controls their world. Because life does not respond to scattered energy, it responds to clarity. Your focus is your power. Where you place your attention consistently is where you plant the seeds of reality. If your focus is consumed by fear, you grow more fear. If it is consumed by vision, you grow vision. It is that simple, yet most people spend their days focusing on what they do not want, and then wonder why they feel powerless. You must train yourself to turn away from appearances that don't match your desire, not out of denial, but out of deeper loyalty to your chosen truth. Freedom does not come from controlling others or even controlling outcomes. It comes from mastering yourself, your mind, your emotions, your focus. You become free the moment you stop reacting and start directing, the moment you stop waiting and start deciding, the moment you stop drifting and start walking with intention. This takes discipline. It takes the willingness to return to your vision 100 times a day if necessary, to remind yourself, this is what I'm creating, even when nothing seems to be moving, especially then, because those moments are not setbacks. They are opportunities to sharpen your focus and deepen your belief. Do not fear the discipline, embrace it, because with it comes a peace you have never known. A peace that does not depend on things going right, a confidence that is not shaken by delay, a quiet joy that comes from knowing exactly who you are and exactly where you're going. So choose your vision, guard it with everything you have, and focus not with force, but with devotion. Because the moment you do, the winds no longer toss you, they carry you. You were never meant to live ruled by fear, tossed by every circumstance, or imprisoned by doubt. The true power has always been within you. The power to focus, to imagine, and to assume the life you desire as already yours. Fear is nothing but misdirected imagination. The moment you take control of your focus, the moment you discipline your inner world, the outer must bend in response. Your assumptions shape your path. Your attention expands your world, and your unwavering clarity dissolves every shadow that fear attempts to cast. Live from the end, trust the unseen, persist with quiet faith. You are not waiting for the world to give you permission. You are declaring who you are, and reality responds. The mind that walks by vision walks in freedom. Thank you. Thank you for listening with your heart open and your mind willing. May these words remind you of what you already know deep within. You are the creator of your life. Now, focus and walk boldly.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us venture into a realm where desires are no longer wishes but certainties. The key to attaining everything you seek lies not in endless striving, but in a simple, exact formula, a formula embedded within your consciousness, awaiting only your recognition. Everything begins with belief, not simply the surface level hope that what you desire may come to pass, but a deep, unshakable conviction that it already exists, fully formed within you. Belief is not an accessory to achieving your desires, it is the cornerstone of everything that manifests in your life. Without it, the mind cannot effectively create, for it remains split between wish and doubt, vision and fear. Belief is the foundation that binds your consciousness to the unseen reality you seek, drawing it into being through the invisible threads of your own conviction. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a vast chasm. On one side lies the reality you currently inhabit, shaped by your past beliefs, limitations, and habitual thoughts. On the other side lies the reality of your fulfilled desires, the life you yearn to live, the experiences you dream of having, the self you aspire to become. The bridge between these two worlds is belief, for it is only by knowing, without doubt, that you are destined for this new reality that you can begin to cross. Your belief is what sustains you on the journey, giving you the strength to step forward even when no tangible evidence yet supports your vision. Belief is powerful not only because it sets an intention, but because it transforms how you see and interact with the world around you. When you genuinely believe in something, Your mind shifts, your perception narrows to focus on opportunities, possibilities, and pathways that align with that belief. If you believe you are capable of success, your mind becomes attuned to the qualities and behaviors that embody success. You begin to act differently, speak differently, and make choices from a place of inner conviction. The world, in turn, responds to this energy, mirroring back the very essence of your belief. But belief must be pure and unwavering. The slightest hesitation, the smallest doubt, weakens it, creating cracks in the foundation. Many people claim to believe in their dreams, but beneath their hopeful words lies a deep well of doubt. They may imagine themselves achieving what they desire, yet part of them fears that it's out of reach or that they are unworthy of it. This divided mind, a mind that vacillates between belief and disbelief, sends mixed signals to the universe, preventing anything concrete from forming. True belief requires that you move beyond this hesitation. It demands that you eliminate the inner chatter that questions if, how, or when your desires will come to pass. Instead, you must arrive at a place where you simply know. When you truly believe, there is a quiet confidence that radiates from you, a certainty that does not seek validation or proof. This is not blind faith, but a deep-seated understanding that the power to create lies within you, and that power responds to the firmness of your belief. Belief is not passive. It is active, alive, shaping each moment. Every action you take from a place of belief strengthens the reality you seek. Conversely, every action taken from doubt weakens it. This is why belief is essential. It becomes the lens through which you interpret every experience, every encounter. When you believe, challenges become stepping stones, not barriers. You approach obstacles with a calm determination, knowing they cannot derail what is already set in motion by your conviction. This inner certainty also frees you from the need for reassurance from the outside world. When you believe, you don't need others to validate your journey or your vision. You don't need external evidence to confirm that you are on the right path. Your belief is enough, a self-sustaining force that drives you forward even when the visible world offers no signs. This detachment from external validation is crucial, for it allows you to remain steadfast, unaffected by the fluctuations of the outer world. It enables you to stay connected to your inner reality, no matter what appears around you. So belief is not just the beginning, it is the constant pulse, the heartbeat of manifestation. It is the one element that, when nurtured, grows stronger with time, reinforcing your vision, anchoring it until it is as real as the ground beneath your feet. As you cultivate this unwavering certainty, you will find that your desires are drawn to you as inevitably as the sun rises each day, proving once again that belief, when unbroken, has the power to turn even the most distant dreams into living, breathing reality. So, imagination is not merely a retreat from the day-to-day, it is the birthplace of every reality you will ever experience. When we imagine, we are engaging in an act of creation, shaping possibilities that do not yet exist in the physical world, but are as real in the unseen as anything tangible. The images you hold in your mind, the scenes you replay, the desires you vividly experience within yourself, they are not idle fantasies, but seeds of potential waiting to be realized. The more you embrace imagination as reality, the more you understand that what you visualize has the power to shape your life in profound ways. Consider the fact that every invention, every piece of art, every accomplishment started as an idea in someone's mind. The car you drive, the building you walk past, the technology you use, all were once only thoughts in the minds of their creators. These people allowed their imaginations to roam freely, to dwell on what could be, instead of limiting themselves to what was. They held to their inner vision, despite external challenges, and in doing so, they shaped the world. This is the power of imagination. It is a preview of life's coming attractions, a way to see beyond the limits of the present and step into the realm of possibility. When you engage your imagination, you are not passively observing a daydream. Rather, you are crafting the blueprint of your future. The images, sounds, and feelings you hold in your mind send a signal to the universe, aligning events and circumstances to bring your vision into form. If you imagine yourself as successful, joyful, or deeply loved, you are preparing the way for these experiences to become your reality. The mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. In both cases, it responds as though it were real. When you repeatedly imagine a specific outcome, you are, in effect, rehearsing your future, embedding this reality within your consciousness until it becomes inevitable. But to truly harness the power of imagination, you must do so with clarity and intention. Casual, fleeting thoughts lack the focus required to bring about transformation. Instead, immerse yourself fully in the scene of your desire fulfilled. Engage all your senses. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures as though they were happening right now. If you imagine yourself achieving a goal, feel the pride, the relief, and the excitement as though it were already yours. By doing so, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind that this imagined reality is not just possible but present. Detachment is also crucial in this process. When you fully trust in your imagination, you release the need for immediate proof. You understand that the unseen precedes the seen, that your inner vision must always come before physical manifestation. By detaching from the urgency of seeing results, you allow your imagination to do its work without interference. This is not about forcing reality, but rather allowing it to unfold in its own time. Just as a seed planted in the soil does not sprout overnight, the images you hold in your mind require time to take root and grow. Then is not escapism, it is empowerment. It is a way of setting the trajectory of your life, regardless of current circumstances. When you treat your imagination as a sacred act of creation, you tap into an unlimited source of power. You become a co-creator with the universe, bringing forth new realities from the depths of your mind. No longer are you at the mercy of external events or other people's opinions. Instead, you become the architect of your life, building a world aligned with your highest vision. The beauty of this process is that it is available to anyone. There are no barriers, no costs, no limits on the use of imagination. All it requires is faith in your ability to create, faith in the reality of your inner visions, faith that the universe responds to your persistent focus. The mind, when directed with intention, becomes the most powerful tool for transformation, capable of shaping life itself. And the more you practice this, the more you will see that imagination is not a fleeting dream, it is the solid ground upon which you build your future. Embrace imagination as reality, and you will find that the world around you begins to shift, aligning itself to the desires you have vividly created within. Reality is not fixed, it is malleable, responsive to the visions you hold. By choosing to see imagination as the source of everything, you unlock the door to limitless possibilities, stepping into a life where dreams and reality become one and the same. The principle of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is a transformative key to creating the life you desire. It is not merely a passive exercise or a momentary act of hoping. Instead, it is a way of being, a practice of embodying, right now, the reality of what you want, as if it were already yours. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to enter fully into the experience of your desire and to live from that place, regardless of what the physical world around you might currently show. This act of feeling with vivid intensity shapes your reality by aligning your inner world with what you seek. For a moment, that you have already achieved your deepest desire, what would that feel like? Would it bring a sense of relief, confidence, joy, or peace? These feelings are not superficial, they arise from the core of your being, from a profound sense that something meaningful has arrived. Now, instead of waiting for external events to bring these feelings, bring them forth within yourself. Feel as though your desire is no longer a distant hope, but a present reality. Embrace these emotions, embody them, and allow them to influence how you think, act, and move through life. By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you activate a powerful shift in your mind and body. When you repeatedly experience the sensation of already having what you want, your mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. The subconscious begins to accept this new state as fact, and over time reshapes your behavior, choices, and actions to align with that internal truth. This process, in turn, influences the outer world, as the subconscious mind, convinced of the reality of your wish fulfilled, starts working in ways to bring that vision into physical existence. The act of assuming is more than just a mental exercise, it is a practice of faith and conviction. You are choosing to prioritize the unseen over the seen, to live from a place of inner assurance rather than from circumstances. To many, this may appear illogical, for they rely on visible evidence to validate their beliefs. But when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you move beyond the need for external confirmation. You are no longer swayed by what is or isn't happening in your life, because within you have already arrived. This inner certainty becomes a powerful anchor that grounds you, allowing you to remain steady and focused on your vision despite any challenges or delays. It is essential to practice this assumption with consistency. In moments of quiet, close your eyes and imagine the scene in as much detail as possible. Picture yourself living the life you desire, immersed in every sight, sound, and sensation. So let the feeling of fulfillment fill you completely. Try to hold this state as often as possible, not just during dedicated times of visualization, but in your daily activities as well. Walk, speak, and act as if you are already the person you wish to become. When you engage with life from this state, you are embodying your future self, making the inner reality more dominant than the outer one. You may face moments of doubt, times when it feels difficult to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, especially when reality seems contrary. But remember that persistence in this practice strengthens your ability to create change. Every time you choose to return to that feeling, you reinforce your belief in the unseen, and this conviction grows stronger. The more you assume this state, the more your inner reality solidifies, until it becomes so vivid that the outer world must adjust to reflect it. Reality is fluid, and it responds to the energy and conviction you bring to it. When you hold fast to the feeling of already having what you want, life rearranges itself to make this inner truth visible. There is a sense of freedom in this practice as well, for you are no longer bound by the limitations of the present moment. You are living from a place of possibility, where your desired future is not something you chase but something you already possess. This allows you to let go of the need to control or manipulate external conditions. You are no longer waiting for life to change to feel content, whole, or happy. Instead, you are cultivating these feelings within, allowing them to shape your experience from the inside out. By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you transform how you engage with life. Every thought, action, and response arises from a place of fulfillment, not lack. This creates a powerful shift in energy, attracting people, opportunities, and resources that align with your vision. Over time, you begin to see evidence of this change in subtle ways. People respond differently, circumstances align, and your environment adapts to mirror your inner state. This practice is the heart of true creation. When you live as if you are already in possession of your desires, you move beyond wishing or hoping. You step into the certainty of your own power, realizing that the world around you is simply an extension of the world within. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and let it be the steady rhythm guiding you toward the life you are destined to experience. Persistence in the inner vision is essential for creating any lasting change. This is not the persistence of sheer willpower or forced determination, but a steady, unbreakable commitment to hold the image of what you desire within you, no matter what circumstances appear on the outside. It means carrying an unwavering faith that your inner reality, if nurtured long enough, will inevitably take shape in the physical world. This persistence requires that you remain focused on your vision, even when external evidence seems to contradict it, trusting in the unseen forces that respond to your steady focus. Holding to an inner vision in the face of challenges or delays is an act of profound faith. Most people look to the world around them for validation. They rely on what they can see, touch, and measure as proof of possibility. But true creation begins within. When you persistently focus on your inner vision, you are cultivating a reality that is invisible to the outside world. This vision becomes your internal compass, guiding you through doubt, resistance, and even the setbacks that may arise on the journey. It is a quiet yet powerful force that propels you forward, allowing you to navigate the world from a place of inner assurance rather than reaction. Persistence in the inner vision also requires a level of discipline and patience. It is easy to be enthusiastic at the beginning of any endeavor, to hold a strong image in mind for a day or two. But true persistence means returning to this vision day after day, moment after moment, regardless of how things unfold around you. It means revisiting your desire in moments of stillness, allowing it to fill your mind and heart so completely that it feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. Every time you return to this vision, you are reinforcing its presence in your consciousness, making it more vivid, more detailed, and ultimately more powerful. To persist in an inner vision, you must also let go of the need for immediate results. This is one of the hardest parts of the process, for the mind often seeks confirmation that it is on the right path. When results don't appear right away, it's easy to feel disheartened, to question whether the vision was worth pursuing in the first place. But persistence requires that you remain anchored in your vision, refusing to be swayed by temporary setbacks. You understand that reality takes time to mold itself around your intention, and that this inner work is setting the foundation for something far greater than what can be seen at the moment. Persistence does not mean ignoring the physical world or denying reality. Instead, it means understanding that reality is malleable, that it responds to the sustained energy of your focus. When you persistently hold an inner vision, you are effectively tuning your energy to that frequency, aligning yourself with the outcomes you desire. Over time, this inner focus influences your actions, decisions, and even the people you attract into your life. Your entire being starts to resonate with your vision, creating a magnetic pull that draws experiences and circumstances into alignment with your inner state. Obstacles may arise. You might encounter resistance, doubts, or moments of frustration. Yet, persistence in your inner vision teaches you to view these obstacles as temporary, as mere appearances that will fade in time. Rather than focusing on what isn't working, you learn to remain steadfast in what is already unfolding within. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to return to your vision with even greater clarity and commitment. Each time you choose to focus on your inner vision rather than on external obstacles, you are strengthening your creative power, proving to yourself that the world within is more potent than the world without. Persistence also means embodying your vision in everyday life. You must act, speak, and think in alignment with the reality you are creating, bringing the inner vision into the small details of your daily existence. Even if you cannot see results right away, your thoughts and actions must reflect your inner conviction. Speak as if your desire were already true. Behave as if you are already living the life you envision. When you embody your vision in this way, you bridge the gap between imagination and reality, allowing the outer world to catch up to your inner state. This inner persistence ultimately becomes a habit, a way of moving through life that is guided by vision rather than circumstance. As you cultivate this habit, you find that external validation becomes less important. Your faith is no longer dependent on visible signs, for you know that what you hold within must eventually express itself. This confidence allows you to move through life with ease, unattached to specific outcomes, yet completely assured that the vision you hold will come to pass. Persistence in the inner vision is about remaining faithful to your creative power. It is the art of believing in what you cannot see and trusting in the process of growth that unfolds beneath the surface. When you persist in your vision, you are nurturing a future that exists in the unseen, a future that will, with time and consistency, become your lived reality. Let this persistence be your strength, a steady force that carries you forward, knowing that the world will bend to match the depth of your inner conviction. Releasing doubts and timelines is a critical part of allowing your desires to manifest fully. Doubt is a natural human response, especially when the outcomes we seek feel far away or difficult to imagine. Yet, when we hold on to doubts or obsess over when our vision will materialize, we actually create resistance, blocking the very results we wish to see. Letting go of these doubts and releasing any fixed timeline for manifestation is not about giving up on your dreams. It's about trusting that the process is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot see every detail. When you doubt, you're entertaining conflicting beliefs. You may deeply desire something, but a part of you might also think it's impossible or unrealistic. These doubts are like seeds of hesitation that dilute your intention, splitting your energy between your desire and the fear of its absence. Instead of focusing solely on what you want, your attention is scattered, questioning whether or when it will come to pass. To release doubts, you must shift your focus entirely to the vision of what you want, trusting in the power of your inner belief, rather than the logic of what is possible based on past experience. When you choose to see doubt as simply a passing thought, rather than an absolute truth, you open yourself to deeper faith in your own creative ability. Letting go of timelines is equally vital in the journey of creation. We often impose timelines on ourselves, expecting that our desires must appear within a specific period to validate that our efforts are working. But when you place a rigid timeline on your vision, you are attempting to control how and when things should happen, which can lead to frustration if reality doesn't conform to your expectations. The universe operates on its own timing, and this timing often brings about outcomes in ways we couldn't have planned or foreseen. Trusting in divine timing requires patience and the understanding that everything arrives exactly when it's meant to, not necessarily when you think it should. This release allows the creative process to unfold without interference, bringing you what you need in the right sequence. Releasing timelines doesn't mean abandoning your desires, rather, it means living as though they are already in the process of becoming real, regardless of how long it takes. When you hold this relaxed confidence, you create space for the vision to grow naturally. By embracing the journey rather than fixating on the destination, you free yourself from the pressure of seeing immediate results. Ironically, this detachment often accelerates the manifestation process because you are no longer holding a tight grip of expectation on every step. But you move with faith, not anxiety, allowing life to flow. The act of releasing doubts and timelines also shifts you into a state of gratitude and acceptance. You learn to appreciate each moment, understanding that even delays and setbacks can serve a purpose in your journey. Every experience becomes a building block for the person you are becoming, contributing to the fullness of your vision. This perspective helps dissolve impatience, for you recognize that every step is meaningful. Rather than seeing time as something that separates you from your desire, you begin to see it as a friend, guiding you through the necessary growth and insights you'll need to sustain that desire when it arrives. A powerful tool in releasing doubts and timelines is visualization. When you visualize your desire as already fulfilled, you are telling your subconscious mind that this outcome is already real, already present. In this mental space, there is no room for doubt, as you are fully immersed in the experience of having what you want. Practice this often, not to force reality to shift immediately, but to train your mind to rest in a state of fulfillment. By embodying this feeling consistently, you reinforce your faith, reducing the urge to question if or when. Another way to cultivate trust is through mindfulness. In moments of doubt, instead of reacting, pause and observe these feelings without judgment. Accept that doubts may come and go, but they do not define what is possible for you. Gently redirect your focus back to your vision, reminding yourself that your inner belief is more powerful than any fleeting uncertainty. In the same way, when impatience arises, breathe deeply and return to the present. Recognize that each moment is an opportunity to align with your vision and enjoy the process, free from the constraints of arbitrary deadlines. By releasing doubts and timelines, you align yourself with the natural flow of creation. You come to understand that your role is to cultivate a steady, joyful anticipation, not to dictate the details. This mindset creates a deep sense of peace and assurance, for you know that what you desire is already on its way to you, even if you cannot see it yet. The more you release the need for control, the more you experience a profound freedom in the act of creation. You become a co-creator, not by force but by alignment, working with the universe rather than against it. In this state of trust and openness, you attract what you seek effortlessly. Releasing doubts and timelines shifts your energy from need to belief, from impatience to readiness. You find joy in the process, appreciating each moment without the pressure of seeing instant results. In doing so, you create a fertile space where your vision can blossom in its own time, perfectly aligned with all that you are. With faith as your foundation, you discover that life brings you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. To act with certainty is to carry yourself with the inner assurance that your vision is not only possible, but inevitable. It is a state of being that transcends doubt and indecision, anchoring you in knowledge that what you desire is already on its way. Acting with certainty is not about forced confidence or pretending to know everything, but rather moving through life with a calm conviction, rooted in the belief that your actions, thoughts, and intentions are paving the way for your vision to manifest. When you act with certainty, you align yourself with your desired outcome on a deep, energetic level. This alignment influences how you think, speak, and make decisions, bringing every aspect of your being into harmony with your goal. Certainty is a powerful frequency that signals to both your subconscious mind and the universe that you are ready to receive what you are working toward. By acting as if your desired result is inevitable, you create a space of possibility that attracts the people, opportunities, and resources needed to bring it into reality. Certainty requires that you fully commit to your vision. Often we hold back, approaching our desires with hesitation or half-hearted effort, fearing that if we go all in, we may face disappointment if it doesn't work out. Yet this very hesitation creates a barrier to success. When you are uncertain, your energy is split. One part of you desires the outcome, while another part doubts it can be achieved. Acting with certainty means quieting that part of you that questions or hesitates and moving forward with an undivided focus, a steady trust in the unfolding of your journey. To act with certainty, begin by embracing your vision wholeheartedly. Imagine it in as much detail as possible and allow yourself to feel the emotions associated with its fulfillment. When you are in this state, your actions take on a new quality. You no longer engage with life from a place of lack or need, but from a place of abundance and assurance. You speak, move, and make choices as though your vision were already fulfilled. This is not about denial of your current reality, but about embodying the mindset and behaviors that align with the outcome you desire. Certainty also means making decisions that support your vision, even if they stretch your comfort zone. Often, acting with certainty requires a willingness to take bold steps, to move beyond what feels safe or familiar. You may need to invest in yourself, dedicate time and resources, or let go of things that no longer serve your higher purpose. Certainty does not mean reckless action. It means calculated, intentional steps forward, guided by the belief that every choice you make is a step closer to realizing your goal. When you act in alignment with this belief, you naturally attract circumstances that reflect your inner state of confidence and clarity. Acting with certainty also involves a level of surrender. It means trusting in the process, even when the path is unclear. You may not always have the answers or know exactly how your vision will come to pass, but certainty does not require that you know every detail. It only requires that you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it will happen. You are able to release the need to control every outcome, allowing the universe to work with you in bringing about what is best for you. This trust creates a sense of ease, freeing you from the anxiety of needing to force results or predict every turn. To act with certainty also means embracing patience and resilience. The journey may have challenges and detours, but certainty keeps you grounded through it all. You understand that setbacks are not failures but stepping stones, part of the process of growth and refinement. With each obstacle, you hold fast to your vision, using it as a beacon to guide you forward. Certainty keeps you focused on the larger picture, allowing you to weather temporary setbacks without losing faith. This resilience fuels your momentum, keeping you moving forward with conviction. In your interactions with others, acting with certainty means communicating your vision with confidence and clarity. When you speak of your goals, you do so with an assured tone, free of hesitation or doubt. This certainty is palpable. People can sense it, and they respond to it. Your belief becomes contagious, inspiring those around you to see the possibility of your vision as clearly as you do. Certainty attracts support, collaboration, and respect, for it demonstrates that you believe in yourself and your purpose. Acting with certainty transforms your life. It allows you to show up as the person you aspire to be, to live from a place of abundance and possibility rather than fear or hesitation. This certainty aligns you with your highest potential, empowering you to create the life you envision with grace and ease. By moving with the calm assurance that your vision is already a part of your reality, you dissolve the barriers of doubt and bring yourself into perfect alignment with the path of your desire. In this space of unshakable confidence, the journey toward your dreams becomes not only possible but inevitable. In conclusion, the journey to realizing your desires is a path of deep faith, inner conviction, and steady alignment. Each principled belief as your foundation, the understanding that imagination is reality, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, persisting in your inner vision, releasing doubts and timelines, and acting with certainty works together to create a powerful flow toward manifestation. When you embody these principles, you move beyond mere wishing. You become a creator, actively shaping your reality from within. Your dreams are already within reach. Trust in this journey, nurture your vision, and move forward with a heart full of faith and purpose. Every step brings you closer to the life you envision, and every moment of persistence, imagination, and trust unlocks new possibilities. Thank you for allowing yourself to explore this path, for embracing the unseen, and for committing to the power within you. Now go forward with confidence and joy, knowing that what you desire is not only possible but already unfolding in ways beyond what you can yet see. Thank you. Then you. In a world where everyone strives to stand out, the rarest woman is one who does not try to be rare. She is the woman who lives from within, radiating a presence that is felt rather than forced. She is rare not because of anything she does to prove herself, but because of the calm certainty she carries inside her. The rarest woman is the one who has learned to live by her own inner vision, an invisible compass that guides her through life, untouched by the voices and expectations of the world around her. She has grown beyond the need for validation from others, and instead she finds her strength in the quiet certainty of her own heart and mind. While most people are swayed by external opinions, eagerly seeking approval to feel secure, this woman has come to understand a deeper truth, that her sense of self is something that only she can define and protect. For her, this journey began when she first realized the futility of trying to mold herself to fit into the world's idea of who she should be. She noticed that no matter how much approval she gained, it was fleeting and conditional, leaving her always wanting more. The praise she once craved turned hollow, for she began to see that it did little to affirm her true essence. Instead of filling her up, it left her feeling more disconnected from herself, as if the applause from the world could never reach the places within that yearned for genuine connection and understanding. It was in that realization that she began the path of turning inward, looking to herself for the answers she once sought outside. She began to nurture a relationship with herself that was built on respect and trust. Rather than allowing the world to tell her who she was or who she could become, she listened to her own voice, the voice that whispered to her in quiet moments, the one that had often been drowned out by the noise of others' expectations. This voice spoke to her not in demands, but in gentle reminders of her own desires, her own dreams, and her own truths. By following this voice, she began to find peace, a peace that no amount of external praise or validation had ever been able to provide. Living by her inner vision has freed her from the endless cycle of comparison and competition that grips so many. She no longer feels the need to measure her worth against the achievements or opinions of others. Instead, she understands that her worth is intrinsic, a gift she was born with, and that no one can take away. She feels a quiet confidence that does not waver when others disapprove or misunderstand her, for she knows that those judgments are reflections of others' limitations, not of her own value. This inner vision gives her a clarity that is rare. She knows what she wants, not because someone else has told her it is valuable, but because it resonates deeply within her. Her desires come from a place of authenticity, a place that honors her own unique path, rather than conforming to the paths that others might expect her to follow. She is not driven by trends, nor does she feel the need to keep up appearances. Instead, she trusts the unfolding of her own journey, even when it leads her down roads that others cannot understand. In learning to live by her inner vision, she has become resilient. When challenges arise, she does not falter because she is anchored in a truth that is unshakable. This truth is her own. It is the foundation upon which she stands, regardless of the storms that may come her way. She has learned to view life's difficulties not as threats to her identity, but as opportunities to deepen her understanding of herself. Each challenge becomes a mirror, reflecting back to her the strength and courage that lie within, qualities that were always there, waiting for her to discover them. Her sense of self does not depend on the opinions of those around her, and so she is free in a way that few people are. She does not need to seek approval to feel secure or successful. Instead, she experiences a quiet joy in the simple act of being herself. She allows herself to grow and evolve, without fearing that she will lose her sense of direction, for her direction comes from within. She has come to understand that true fulfillment is found not in conforming to what others want from her, but in honoring her own soul's calling. Living in this way has also allowed her to form deeper connections with others. Because she is no longer projecting an image of who she thinks she should be, she is able to be truly present and genuine. People are drawn to her authenticity, sensing that she is someone who does not pretend or compromise her values to be liked. This makes her presence refreshing and inspiring, as she embodies a way of being that encourages others to let go of their own masks and explore their own truths. The rarest woman in the world is not rare because she is perfect or because she has achieved some kind of external success. She is rare because she has chosen to walk a path that few dare to take, the path of inner truth. She has learned to trust herself above all else, to listen to the voice within that knows her better than anyone ever could. She is not swayed by trends or opinions, for she knows that her vision is her own, a gift that is sacred and deeply personal. In a world that constantly pulls people outward, she has chosen to turn inward, discovering that all she ever needed was already within her. And so she moves through life with a quiet grace, unshaken by the world around her, for she knows who she is. She has found a peace that comes not from the approval of others, but from the steady, unwavering strength of her own inner vision. This is what makes her rare the courage to live not by the rules of the world, but by the truth of her own heart. In a world where power is often equated with volume and visibility, the rarest woman draws her strength from a different source. Her power is found not in force, not in a need to control, but in stillness, a place within herself that remains untouched by external demands and distractions. She embodies a calm that is rare and profound, a quiet force that moves without needing to be seen or heard. It is this stillness that gives her an inner resilience and an unbreakable grace, qualities that are often underestimated yet infinitely powerful. This woman understands that true power does not need to impose itself on others. She does not feel the need to dominate or bend situations to her will. Instead, she knows that her influence comes from a place of grounded presence. Her stillness is not passivity, but a conscious choice to remain centered, a decision to move through life without letting external chaos disturb her inner peace. She knows that in stillness lies clarity, and in clarity strength. In moments of conflict or tension, while others may react impulsively, she pauses. She has learned that hasty reactions are often misguided, and that real wisdom requires patience and a calm mind. Instead of forcing outcomes, she trusts the process, allowing situations to unfold naturally. This does not mean she is indifferent or disengaged. On the contrary, her stillness allows her to remain fully aware and present. She listens deeply, not only to others but also to herself. She recognizes that clarity arises from silence, and that in this silence she can hear her own intuition guiding her with a wisdom that surpasses logic. Her power lies in her ability to stand firm without exerting force. She does not need to push her way forward because she has an inner confidence that guides her naturally. This confidence is not loud or boastful, it is quiet and steady, rooted in her own sense of self. She knows that she does not have to compete or prove herself, because she is already enough as she is. She does not feel the need to rush or to be the loudest voice in the room, for she understands that real power does not need to shout to be effective. Her presence alone commands respect, not through intimidation but through her authentic, centered self. In this state of stillness, she becomes a mirror to those around her. Her calm reflects the turbulence of others, revealing to them their own restlessness and unease. It is in her presence that people are often drawn to look within themselves, sensing a tranquility they may not even know they are seeking. Her power lies in the way she can inspire change without uttering a word, simply by embodying a peace that others are compelled to find in themselves. She is a reminder that stillness is not weakness, that silence is not absence, rather, they are spaces where true insight and understanding are born. This rare woman has learned that not every battle is hers to fight, and not every situation requires her intervention. There is wisdom in restraint, in knowing when to act and when to wait. She has cultivated a trust in life itself, a belief that when she remains aligned with her inner peace, circumstances will naturally resolve in her favor. By not forcing outcomes, she allows doors to open for her that others might miss in their haste. She understands that sometimes, by simply holding her ground without resistance, she exerts a power far greater than force could ever accomplish. Her stillness gives her the strength to weather life's storms with grace. While others may flail and fight against the waves, she knows how to stay anchored, letting the storm pass without being shaken. Her calm demeanor does not mean she is unaffected, rather. It means she does not allow external events to define her inner state. She acknowledges her emotions but does not let them control her. She feels deeply, yet she remains centered, knowing that her peace is something she can always return to, regardless of what happens around her. This ability to remain still and centered is her power, a quality that is increasingly rare in a world filled with noise and urgency. People may wonder at her strength, not understanding how she can move forward with such ease and grace. But she knows that her power does not come from trying to control life, but from allowing life to flow around her as she remains rooted in her own sense of self. She is a witness to her own life, fully present but unattached to the outcomes, trusting that whatever unfolds is exactly as it should be. Her stillness does not mean she is static or inactive. On the contrary, she moves with purpose, guided by her own rhythm, not the expectations or pressures of others. She acts when necessary, but her actions are deliberate, thoughtful, and impactful. By avoiding the rush and noise, she accomplishes more with less effort, understanding that true power often requires less movement, not more. Her stillness is a reservoir from which she draws strength, creativity, and wisdom, allowing her to make decisions that align with her values and desires. In a world that often equates force with power, the rarest woman has discovered a deeper, quieter strength. She does not need to assert herself aggressively because her presence speaks for itself. She knows that the most powerful movements are often the subtlest, the most profound impacts the quietest. By living from this place of stillness, she has become a source of calm, strength, and inspiration to others. Her power lies not in how loudly she moves, but in the quiet depth of her being, in a strength that transcends force and finds its true essence in the silence within. The rarest woman possesses a courage that is not often seen, for it is the courage to walk alone. She knows that true strength is often cultivated in solitude, in those moments when she must rely solely on herself, without the comfort of validation or the reassurance of others. This courage is not born out of a need to be isolated or indifferent, rather. It stems from a profound understanding of who she is and a commitment to honor her own path, even if that path sometimes requires her to stand apart. To walk alone is to understand that not everyone will see the vision she holds, and that's all right. She does not seek approval, nor does she need others to validate the choices she makes. Her courage allows her to move forward even when she faces misunderstanding, even when her choices lead her down roads that others might not take. She has learned that to honor her own truth is worth more than the fleeting comfort of conformity. She recognizes that there is a price to authenticity, but to her it is a price worth paying. For this woman, the cost of ignoring her inner calling is far greater than any discomfort that solitude might bring. She understands that walking alone doesn't mean isolating herself from the world, nor does it mean she does not value companionship. It simply means that she has developed the ability to move forward without relying on the presence or approval of others. Her relationships are meaningful, but they do not define her. She appreciates the company of those who walk with her, but she does not depend on it. If the path before her requires her to journey alone, she accepts it with grace, knowing that her inner strength will sustain her. This courage has been hard-won. She has likely faced times when walking alone felt daunting, when the weight of isolation seemed unbearable. But instead of seeking escape, she looked inward and discovered resilience. In those moments of solitude, she learned to face her fears and embrace her own company. She found a depth within herself that she hadn't realized existed, a quiet confidence that arose not from others' approval, but from her own acceptance. She came to understand that the peace she sought was within her all along, and that by learning to walk alone, she could move forward with or without anyone else by her side. To walk alone is to be willing to be misunderstood, to stand firm even when others question her choices. She knows that the world may not always understand her decisions, but she trusts herself enough to follow her own guidance. This trust is what allows her to take risks, to pursue dreams that others might deem impossible or impractical. She has faith in her own vision, and she is willing to be the only one who sees it, at least for now. She understands that true courage is not loud, it does not need to prove itself. True courage is quiet, steady, and unwavering. By choosing to walk alone when necessary, she has learned to embrace herself fully. She has become her own source of support, her own confidante, her own anchor. In solitude, she has come to know herself in ways that few people ever do. She has faced her doubts, her insecurities, and her shadows, and instead of running from them, she has embraced them. This self-acceptance gives her a strength that cannot be shaken, a resilience that does not waver when she encounters difficulty. She has come to understand that being alone is not the same as being lonely. In fact, she finds a richness in her solitude that nourishes her spirit. Her courage inspires others, even if they do not fully understand her journey. People sense her strength, her independence, and her quiet confidence. They may not always know what she has endured to reach this place of self-assurance, but they are drawn to her presence nonetheless. She becomes a silent example of what it means to be true to oneself, to have the bravery to follow one's own path, regardless of whether anyone else walks alongside. Her willingness to walk alone does not mean she closes herself off from love or connection. On the contrary, she is deeply open, but she approaches relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. She does not seek others to fill a void. Instead, she shares her life with others because she chooses to, not because she has to. Her courage to walk alone allows her to engage in relationships from a place of authenticity, unafraid to be fully herself. She knows that true connection is found not in dependency, but in mutual respect and understanding. In a world that often fears solitude, the rarest woman has found freedom in it. She does not see aloneness as something to be avoided, but as a space where she can reconnect with her own spirit. She values this time of reflection, for it is in solitude that she gains clarity, strengthens her intuition, and renews her sense of purpose. Walking alone has become a practice of self-discovery, a journey that continually deepens her understanding of who she is and what she truly desires. This is the courage that defines her, the courage to walk alone, to trust her own path, to honor her own truth. It is a strength that many may not understand, but she does not seek to be understood. She is content with the journey as it unfolds, knowing that each step she takes brings her closer to the fullest expression of herself. And so she walks confidently, quietly, with a strength that is both rare and beautiful, leaving a path of inspiration for others to follow, should they choose. The rarest woman is one whose desires are intentional, arising from a place of deep authenticity rather than superficial wants or fleeting impulses. Her desires are not influenced by trends, nor are they born out of a need to impress or seek approval. Instead, they come from a profound understanding of who she is and what truly aligns with her spirit. She has cultivated an inner clarity that allows her to discern her genuine desires from the noise of the world, grounding her in choices that reflect her true self. This authenticity is rare in a world where so many are swayed by the opinions of others, where desires are often shaped by external validation rather than internal truth. She has recognized that to pursue a desire just because it is popular or acceptable is to betray herself. She knows that when she is true to her own desires, she feels a sense of fulfillment that no amount of external approval can replace. This commitment to her own authenticity is what makes her unique. She is not interested in conforming to the expectations of others, but in living a life that is meaningful to her. Her desires are born out of reflection and purpose. She does not rush into pursuits impulsively, nor does she adopt the desires of others simply to feel included or valued. Instead, she spends time with herself, reflecting on what truly matters to her, and in this stillness she uncovers her most genuine yearnings. This woman is not afraid to be selective, for she knows that it is better to pursue fewer desires that are deeply meaningful than to chase countless dreams that lack real significance. Because her desires are intentional, she approaches life with a sense of focus and direction. She is not easily distracted by the promises of quick success or temporary satisfaction, for she understands that the fulfillment she seeks lies beyond instant gratification. Her desires are rooted in something more profound, a commitment to growth, self-discovery, and a life that resonates with her core values. She is willing to invest the time, energy, and dedication required to bring her authentic desires to life, knowing that true fulfillment is worth the journey. Her intentionality allows her to move through life with a quiet confidence. She does not feel the need to explain or justify her desires to others, because she knows that they are deeply personal and meaningful to her. While others may question her choices or fail to understand the motivations behind her pursuits, she is unshaken. She has learned that not everyone will understand her path, and that's perfectly fine. She trusts herself, and this trust frees her from the need for external validation. In a world that often encourages comparison and competition, she chooses a different path, one of alignment and authenticity. She does not measure her desires against those of others, nor does she feel the need to keep up with the achievements of those around her. Her desires are her own, unique to her journey and her growth. She finds contentment in the knowledge that she is pursuing a life that reflects who she truly is, and this contentment is her source of strength and peace. Her authenticity allows her to attract experiences, relationships, and opportunities that align with her values. She knows that when she is true to herself, she naturally draws people and situations that resonate with her genuine self. This alignment creates a sense of harmony in her life, as her desires are no longer in conflict with her actions or her beliefs. She experiences a sense of flow, a feeling that life unfolds naturally when she is in tune with her own heart. This woman does not need to force or manipulate circumstances to achieve her desires. Instead, she allows them to manifest in their own time, knowing that what is meant for her will come to her. Her intentional desires also reflect her inner courage. She is brave enough to listen to herself, to honor the desires that may not fit the mold of societal expectations. She knows that authenticity requires vulnerability, the willingness to stand out, to choose differently, and to follow a path that others might not understand. But she has come to see that living an authentic life is far more rewarding than conforming to others' ideals. She embraces the courage required to pursue her own truth, understanding that this is what gives her life depth and meaning. Because her desires are rooted in authenticity, she is able to weather setbacks and challenges with grace. She knows that the path toward her dreams may not always be smooth, but because her desires come from a place of genuine intention, she remains committed even when obstacles arise. She does not abandon her dreams at the first sign of difficulty, for her connection to them is far deeper than mere convenience or surface-level satisfaction. Her authenticity anchors her, giving her the strength to persevere and the resilience to overcome whatever challenges come her way. This intentional way of living has given her a sense of fulfillment that many may never know. She does not waste her energy on pursuits that do not serve her soul or her purpose. She has let go of the need to chase approval, prestige, or validation, understanding that these things are fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. Instead, she lives from a place of integrity, knowing that her desires are aligned with her highest self. Her life becomes a reflection of her own unique vision, a testament to her commitment to authenticity and purpose. In honoring her own desires, she has created a life that is uniquely her own, a life that is rich in meaning and filled with experiences that truly matter to her. She stands as a reminder that authenticity is the path to true fulfillment, that when we align our desires with our deepest selves, we find a sense of peace and joy that transcends anything the external world can offer. Her life is not just a series of accomplishments or possessions, it is a reflection of her heart, a testament to the power of living intentionally and authentically. And in doing so, she has found a fulfillment that cannot be shaken, a sense of purpose that will guide her through all of life's seasons. The rarest woman understands the transformative power of self-compassion and forgiveness, recognizing that these qualities are essential for her growth and well-being. In a world that often promotes harsh self-judgment and unrealistic standards, she has chosen a different path, one where kindness towards herself becomes the foundation of her existence. This journey is not about ignoring her flaws or dismissing her mistakes. Instead, it is about embracing them with a gentle understanding that fosters healing and growth. Self-compassion begins with awareness. This woman has cultivated the ability to observe her thoughts and feelings without falling into the trap of self-criticism. She recognizes when her inner dialogue turns negative, when the voices of doubt and fear begin to rise. Instead of allowing those voices to dictate her self-worth, she meets them with kindness. She understands that everyone makes mistakes and that imperfection is a part of being human. By acknowledging her humanity, she creates space for compassion to flourish, transforming moments of self-doubt into opportunities for love and understanding. In practicing self-compassion, she recognizes that it is not a weakness but a profound strength. It requires vulnerability to be honest with oneself, to confront feelings of inadequacy or failure without resorting to judgment. She allows herself to feel her emotions deeply, whether they are sadness, disappointment, or frustration, knowing that it is okay to experience these feelings. She does not suppress or deny her pain, rather, she embraces it, holding herself in a tender embrace that acknowledges her struggles. This process allows her to heal, as she learns that feeling is part of living fully. Forgiveness is another integral aspect of her self-compassion practice. She knows that holding on to resentment, either toward herself or others, only serves to weigh her down. Instead of clinging to past grievances, she chooses to release them. She understands that forgiveness is a gift she gives herself, a way to free her heart from the burdens of anger and regret. By letting go of what no longer serves her, she creates space for joy, love, and new possibilities to enter her life. She acknowledges that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It takes time to heal from hurt, and she honors that journey. There are days when she may struggle with forgiving herself or others, but instead of forcing the process, she approaches it with patience. She allows herself to feel the weight of her emotions, understanding that they are valid. This approach fosters a deeper understanding of herself and her relationships, creating a path toward genuine healing. Her practice of self-compassion and forgiveness extends beyond herself. It shapes the way she interacts with others. She understands that everyone is fighting their own battles, often unseen. This awareness allows her to cultivate empathy, enabling her to approach others with kindness and understanding. When someone wrongs her, she does not rush to judgment or retaliation. Instead, she practices forgiveness, understanding that their actions may stem from their own pain or struggles. This ability to see the humanity in others fosters stronger connections, as she learns to respond to conflict with grace rather than anger. In her relationships, she creates a safe space for vulnerability. By modeling self-compassion, she encourages others to embrace their own flaws and struggles without fear of judgment. She understands that when people feel accepted and understood, they are more likely to engage in authentic connections. This creates a ripple effect as her compassion inspires those around her to practice the same kindness toward themselves and others. In a world that often prioritizes achievement and perfection, the rarest woman reminds herself that her worth is not contingent upon her successes or failures. She finds value in simply being herself, with all her complexities and imperfections. Her practice of self-compassion allows her to approach life with a sense of grace, understanding that her journey is uniquely her own. She does not compare herself to others, rather, she focuses on her growth, celebrating her progress, no matter how small. Through self-compassion and forgiveness, she fosters a deeper sense of inner peace. She learns to let go of the need for external validation, recognizing that her true worth lies within. This inner shift transforms the way she navigates challenges, as she faces obstacles with resilience rather than fear. She understands that life is filled with ups and downs, but her self-compassion provides a steady anchor that allows her to weather the storms with grace. The rarest woman embodies the essence of self-compassion and forgiveness. She knows that these qualities are not merely practices, but fundamental aspects of her being. By cultivating kindness toward herself, she creates a foundation for a fulfilling life, one that is grounded in authenticity and love. Her journey serves as a powerful reminder that true strength lies in vulnerability, that the ability to embrace one's flaws and mistakes is a testament to courage. In her heart, she knows that by practicing self-compassion and forgiveness, she can transform her life, allowing her to shine brightly in a world that often seeks to dim that light. And in doing so, she inspires others to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery and healing, creating a collective space for compassion, understanding, and love. Her quiet strength also manifests in her unwavering commitment to her values. She is deeply aware of what matters to her, and this awareness guides her choices and actions. She does not waver in her convictions, even when faced with opposition. Instead, she stands firm, rooted in her beliefs while remaining open to dialogue and understanding. This steadfastness inspires others to examine their own values and encourages them to live authentically as well. Her impact extends far beyond her immediate circle as she becomes a beacon of integrity in a world that often seems adrift. The rarest woman understands that strength is not synonymous with aggression. She embodies a different kind of power, one that is compassionate and nurturing. She uses her strength to uplift those around her, offering support and encouragement to those in need. Whether it's a kind word, a listening ear, or a helping hand, she is there for others, creating a network of support that is both empowering and transformative. Her impact is felt not just in grand gestures, but in the small, everyday acts of kindness that often go unnoticed, yet leave a lasting impression. Her quiet strength also allows her to be resilient in the face of setbacks. Instead of viewing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, she sees them as opportunities for growth and learning. When she encounters difficulty, she does not succumb to despair, rather, she embraces the experience, analyzing what can be learned and how she can move forward. This mindset encourages others to adopt a similar perspective, fostering a culture of resilience and perseverance within her community. Her ability to rise after a fall becomes a source of inspiration, demonstrating that setbacks are not the end, but rather a stepping stone on the path to success. The rarest woman recognizes the importance of self-care in maintaining her quiet strength. She understands that to support others effectively, she must first nurture her own well-being. This commitment to self-care is not selfish, it is an acknowledgement that her capacity to give is directly tied to her own health, both physical and emotional. By prioritizing her needs, she models for others the importance of self-compassion, encouraging them to embrace their own journeys of self-discovery and healing. In her professional life, her quiet strength translates into a powerful influence. She does not seek to dominate conversations or control outcomes. Instead, she collaborates, empowers, and leads by example. Her colleagues respect her not just for her skills, but for her character. She creates environments where creativity and innovation can flourish, as people feel safe to share their ideas and take risks. This collaborative spirit fosters a sense of community in the workplace, where individuals thrive because they know their contributions are valued. The rarest woman leaves an indelible mark on the lives she touches. Her impact may not always be visible in the traditional sense. There are no loud proclamations, no grandstanding, but it is profound nonetheless. She inspires others to embrace their own strength, to cultivate resilience, and to live authentically. Her quiet presence is a reminder that true power does not need to be loud. It can be subtle yet transformative. In a world that often celebrates the loud and the brash, she stands as a testament to the beauty of quiet strength, a force that nurtures, uplifts, and profoundly changes lives in ways that are felt long after she has left the room. Her legacy is one of love, compassion, and authenticity, encouraging others to recognize the power within themselves. The ripples of her impact extend far beyond her immediate surroundings, fostering a culture of strength that encourages vulnerability and connection. In her quiet strength, she finds a profound way to influence the world, inspiring countless others to embrace their own journey with courage and grace. Her journey is marked by an unwavering commitment to her goals, but she recognizes that reaching them is not always a straight path. The rarest woman has learned that good things often take time to develop, just like a seed takes time to grow into a strong tree. She appreciates the beauty of the journey, knowing that each moment contributes to her growth. While others may rush towards their desires, she remains grounded, understanding that the best outcomes require nurturing and care. Patience for her is an active state of being, a conscious choice to remain calm and centered amid external pressures. When faced with challenges or setbacks, she doesn't allow frustration to overwhelm her. Instead, she pauses, reflects, and reevaluates her approach. This ability to step back gives her clarity, enabling her to assess the situation with a level head. She knows that reacting impulsively rarely leads to fruitful outcomes, so she embraces the stillness that patience provides. In this stillness, she cultivates a deeper understanding of herself and her circumstances. The rarest woman also possesses the wisdom to differentiate between what she can control and what she cannot. She invests her energy in the areas where she can make a difference, letting go of the need to control outcomes beyond her reach. This understanding frees her from unnecessary stress and anxiety, allowing her to focus on the present moment. By embracing the here and now, she finds joy in the small victories and lessons that each day brings. Her patience fosters a mindset of gratitude, as she learns to appreciate the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. In her relationships, she exemplifies patience through her capacity to listen and understand. She recognizes that everyone is on their unique path, each carrying their burdens and experiences. When conflicts arise, she approaches them with empathy, allowing space for open dialogue and understanding. Her willingness to listen without judgment deepens her connections with others, creating a sense of safety that encourages honesty and vulnerability. In this way, her patience not only enriches her own life but also positively impacts those around her. The rarest woman knows that self-compassion is a vital aspect of her patience. She treats herself with kindness, especially when facing setbacks or challenges. Instead of succumbing to self-criticism, she reminds herself that growth is a process filled with ups and downs. This self-compassion fuels her resilience, allowing her to bounce back stronger after experiencing disappointment or failure. By practicing patience with herself, she creates a nurturing environment that fosters growth and healing, recognizing that she too is a work in progress. She embraces the power of delayed gratification, understanding that true fulfillment often comes from enduring the wait. She sets her sights on long-term goals, knowing that they require time, effort, and dedication. This long-term vision allows her to prioritize her actions and make choices aligned with her values. While instant rewards may tempt her, she remains focused on the bigger picture, trusting that her hard work will pay off in due time. This perspective empowers her to persevere, even when the path becomes challenging or uncertain. Her patience is also reflected in her ability to adapt to change. Life is inherently unpredictable, and the rarest woman understands that flexibility is key to navigating its twists and turns. She embraces change as an opportunity for growth, allowing herself to adjust her plans and expectations as needed. This adaptability enhances her resilience, enabling her to face life's challenges with a sense of openness and curiosity. Rather than resisting change, she flows with it, trusting that each new experience contributes to her personal evolution. The rarest woman recognizes that patience is not simply about waiting, it is about remaining engaged and active during the process. She actively seeks opportunities for growth, learning, and self-discovery while allowing the universe to unfold its plans. This active engagement keeps her grounded, ensuring that she remains connected to her goals and aspirations. In doing so, she harnesses the power of patience as a catalyst for her journey, turning waiting into a meaningful and transformative experience. In the quiet moments, when you look within, you'll find a power greater than any challenge or struggle you face. This power, this presence, is God, the divine source of all that is. And in choosing to focus on God, you are choosing to look away from your problems, to transcend the momentary illusions of difficulty and doubt. The direction of your life, your experiences, your emotions, everything is fundamentally determined by the focus of your attention. Attention, often seen as a simple mental function, is far more powerful than we might first imagine. It is the magnetic force that draws reality towards you. Whatever you choose to focus on, you empower. Whatever you overlook, you weaken. And so the things that capture your attention grow in your awareness and influence the shape of your reality. Attention, then, is the silent architect of life, constructing our outer experiences from the blueprint of our inner focus. Consider this: each time you fixate on a problem, a fear, or a negative outcome, you are subtly affirming that it has power in your life. You might think that by scrutinizing an issue, you are moving closer to a solution. Yet often, the opposite is true. The more energy you devote to what you do not want, the more likely you are to attract similar circumstances. This happens not by chance, but because your attention has given it life. It is as though your inner world plants a seed, and through attention you water it. In time, that seed, be it a thought of abundance or one of lack, grows and manifests outwardly, forming the very reality you experience. Now, why does attention hold such influence? It is because attention flows from the mind to the heart, imbuing thoughts with feeling. And it is this combination of thought and emotion that energizes creation. A fleeting thought may come and go, leaving little trace behind, but a thought charged with consistent attention and deep emotion becomes anchored in your subconscious, creating the blueprint that the world around you will eventually reflect. Attention directs the creative energy within you. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and it is this flow of energy that shapes circumstances, relationships, and outcomes. Yet, in most lives, attention is scattered, reactive, and often controlled by external stimuli. We allow ourselves to be swayed by events, by the opinions of others, by whatever demands our immediate focus. In doing so, we yield control of our inner creative power. Instead of consciously directing attention toward what we truly desire, we allow it to drift, reinforcing beliefs, worries, and assumptions that serve neither our peace nor our fulfillment. This scattered attention leads to a scattered life, a life that feels chaotic, out of control, and dictated by forces outside of oneself. Instead, focusing on the presence of abundance, harmony, and peace, regardless of what appears before you. When you learn to master your attention, you understand that outward appearances are only reflections, effects of the inner state. You begin to realize that if you turn your attention inward and focus on the qualities you wish to experience, such as love, success, or peace, life will mirror those qualities back to you. It is not a matter of forcing outer circumstances to change, rather, it is an inner alignment, a steady focus on the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and purpose. The power of attention, then, is a power of choice. You may choose to focus on fear, on what you lack, or on what others say you should pursue. But this focus merely prolongs those unwanted experiences. Or you may choose to redirect your attention inward, grounding it in the qualities and states that resonate with your highest self. This redirection takes practice, for the mind is quick to wander and revert to its habitual focus. Yet with commitment, the habit of placing your attention on what uplifts and empowers you becomes natural, and in time, transformative. The art of focused attention is a process of cultivating awareness. First, you observe what presently holds your attention. Are you consumed by thoughts of scarcity, of worry, of self-doubt? Or do you nurture thoughts of hope, abundance, and inner strength? By recognizing the quality of your attention, you take the first step in changing it. Through regular practice, you learn to gently release thoughts that do not serve you and to replace them with those that do. This shift is subtle yet profound. The outer world may not change immediately, but your inner experience will, and soon enough, the outer world will begin to reflect this change. Attention is not a matter of forcing the mind into rigid control. Rather, it is a gentle redirection, a turning away from what feels heavy, anxious, or draining and toward what feels light, joyful, and expansive. Each time you notice yourself drifting into worry or doubt, you simply return to the qualities that align with your true desires. In this practice, you reclaim your creative power. You begin to live intentionally, no longer at the mercy of fleeting thoughts or passing circumstances. The power of attention reveals that life is not something happening to you, but something unfolding through you. It shows that within each moment, you hold the choice to shape your reality by focusing on what truly matters. You are the architect, the weaver of experiences, with the power to create harmony, abundance, and peace. By honoring this power, by choosing your focus wisely, you transform not only your life but the lives of those around you. Attention, when directed with intention and love, has the power to reshape worlds. It is a gift, one that requires only your choice and commitment to use wisely. Life, as we experience it, is largely composed of shifting appearances, fleeting circumstances, temporary challenges, and passing moments that come and go. Yet we tend to place tremendous weight on these outward appearances, becoming entangled in their transient nature, as though they were absolute and unchanging. The true journey, however, lies in understanding that appearances are not the reality of who we are or what we are destined to experience. They are surface reflections, like waves on the ocean, shaped by deeper forces that remain unseen. To live freely, to experience life with peace and purpose, one must learn to detach from appearances and anchor themselves in the unchanging essence within. When you look at appearances, situations, events, or even how others perceive you, you are only seeing a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. This outer world acts as a mirror, showing back to you what you have unconsciously projected. In that sense, it is a feedback mechanism, not a definitive reality. What appears before you is merely a shadow of your previous state of mind, a product of the beliefs you once held. But if you fixate on these appearances, believing them to be unchangeable, you trap yourself in a cycle, reinforcing those past beliefs and thoughts. You give power to the illusion, mistaking it for truth, when, in reality, it is only a temporary manifestation. Detaching from appearances, therefore, is about realizing that external circumstances hold no real authority over your inner state. Your essence, your true self, is untouched by the fluctuations of the outer world. When you anchor yourself in this understanding, you find a sense of calm that cannot be shaken by changing conditions. This detachment is not indifference, it is a conscious choice to see beyond what is immediately in front of you and connect with a deeper truth. It is the understanding that appearances will inevitably change, and that by remaining centered, you can influence this change from within, rather than being swept up in the turbulence of the outer world. For instance, that you are faced with a challenging situation, a financial setback, a relationship strain, or an unexpected obstacle. If you look solely at the appearance of the situation, you might see lack, struggle, or failure. But this is only the surface, it is not the essence of what is possible. By detaching from the immediate appearance, you allow yourself to see possibilities beyond it. Instead of reacting with fear or despair, you can turn within, reconnecting with your sense of abundance, peace, and strength. You choose to respond from a place of inner clarity, rather than reacting to a passing shadow. In doing so, you align with a state that can actually transform the appearance rather than perpetuate it. This practice of detachment requires faith in the unseen, faith that the appearance before you is but one moment in an unfolding journey, and that by turning inward, you can influence what comes next. It is the courage to look beyond the visible, to understand that what you see is not all there is. The appearance is merely one expression of a vast, dynamic reality that responds to the energy and focus you bring to it. When you detach from the appearance, you reclaim your power as a creator of experience, rather than a passive observer of circumstance. To detach from appearances does not mean to ignore or deny them. Rather, it is about not allowing them to define your state of being. It is about holding on to your inner peace and trust, even when the outer world seems chaotic. This detachment allows you to live from a place of stability, of groundedness, where your actions and responses are guided by inner wisdom rather than outer conditions. You are no longer reacting to life, you are shaping it from a place of calm assurance. In this detachment, you discover that reality is far more malleable than it first appears. The outer world is not fixed, it is constantly shifting in response to your inner state. When you hold a steady vision of peace, abundance, or love within yourself, life begins to mirror these qualities back to you. But this only happens when you cease to give power to appearances. If you remain fixated on them, you reinforce their existence in your life. By detaching, you free yourself from this cycle and open the door to new possibilities. Detaching from appearances means living with the understanding that life is far deeper, more intricate, and more responsive than surface impressions would suggest. It is knowing that while the outer world may reflect certain conditions, it does not define the whole of reality. You have the power to shift your experience by turning within, by focusing on the qualities you wish to experience, and by allowing these qualities to transform the world around you. Appearances are like clouds passing across the sky. They may obscure your view temporarily, but they cannot change the essence of the sky itself. As you learn to detach from appearances, you begin to live in a state of inner freedom. No longer bound by the transient nature of circumstances, you move with a sense of purpose and peace. You become rooted in the unchanging, in the deeper truths that go beyond the surface. This shift allows you to live fully, to embrace each moment with openness, knowing that whatever appears before you is just one layer of a much larger, richer reality. And in this understanding, you find the power to shape your life not by the conditions of the world, but by the enduring truth within yourself. In a world where we are taught to rely on what we can see, measure, and analyze, placing faith in the unseen often feels like a radical departure. We are conditioned to believe in the power of external evidence, facts, data, circumstances, taking it as a definitive guide for what is possible. Yet the very nature of faith calls us beyond this reliance on appearances, urging us to look within and trust in a power that cannot be quantified. This inner faith is the quiet, unshakable conviction that something greater, something beyond what we see, is at work. It is a belief that regardless of current circumstances, there exists a divine order, a truth unfolding that is beyond immediate understanding. To live from inner faith, rather than external evidence, is to recognize that reality is not fixed. Appearances are reflections of our past beliefs, emotions, and thoughts, echoes of where we once were in consciousness. But they are not static. Just because you currently face a challenge, a limitation, or an undesirable circumstance does not mean it is the ultimate truth of your life. Inner faith gives you the strength to look beyond the present situation, to trust that transformation is not only possible, but is already taking place in the unseen realms of spirit and consciousness. This shift in perspective allows you to live with hope, resilience, and a deeper sense of purpose. External evidence, on the other hand, can be persuasive and often leads us to feel bound by what we see. If a person experiences financial struggles, poor health, or relationship challenges, the outer evidence may seem overwhelming. It may insist that these issues are insurmountable, convincing you to settle, to limit your dreams to fit within the narrow constraints of your present reality. But inner faith is the gentle reminder that reality is far more expansive than any current situation. It tells you that beyond what the eyes perceive lies a higher truth, a power that can reshape circumstances in ways unimaginable through logic alone. When you cultivate inner faith, you begin to understand that life responds not merely to actions, but to the beliefs and emotions underlying them. By choosing to trust in the unseen, you are aligning yourself with a higher plane of possibility. So your faith acts as a guiding light, illuminating the path ahead, even when the immediate future appears uncertain. This faith is not blind, rather, it is an awakened understanding that the material world is an extension of the unseen. What we hold within our beliefs, our visions, our hopes has a profound influence on what ultimately appears in our lives. Inner faith requires a level of detachment from outer conditions. It means refusing to allow setbacks or temporary difficulties to define your inner state. Imagine a sailor on a vast ocean, navigating through storms and waves. The external evidence, the turbulent waters, the dark skies, might suggest that there is no safe passage, no calm shore ahead. But the sailor trusts in their compass, in their knowledge that the storm is temporary, and that beyond it lies safe harbor. Similarly, inner faith is the compass within, the inner knowing that guides you even when the world around you feels uncertain or hostile. This inner faith becomes a powerful tool for transformation. When you believe in a reality beyond what you currently see, you open yourself to possibilities that were previously hidden. Instead of focusing on what is lacking, you begin to focus on what you wish to create. This shift in focus, powered by faith, activates a creative process within you. Your mind begins to visualize new outcomes. Your emotions shift to match this vision, and gradually, the external world begins to adjust in response to your inner conviction. The evidence you once relied upon changes as your inner state evolves. Living by inner faith, rather than external evidence, also brings a sense of peace. No longer do you need to feel at the mercy of every fluctuation in the world around you. You understand that the true foundation of your life is something eternal, something beyond the temporary ups and downs of circumstance. Faith is the quiet assurance that, no matter what arises, you are connected to a source of strength and wisdom that can carry you through. It frees you from the need to control every aspect of your life, allowing you to surrender with trust, knowing that the outcome will be aligned with your highest good. Yet, cultivating this faith is a practice. The mind, naturally drawn to what it can see, will often resist, doubting the unseen, questioning the wisdom of trusting in something intangible. This is where patience and commitment come in. Every time you choose to believe in a positive outcome, every time you shift your focus from fear to trust, you are strengthening your faith. This practice becomes easier with time, and as you see the effects of living by inner faith, the external evidence becomes less influential. Inner faith is about creating from within, rather than reacting to what appears outside. It is about realizing that you are not merely a passive observer in life, but a co-creator. You hold the power to shift the outer by transforming the inner. When you stop allowing circumstances to dictate your state of being, you become free to create a life aligned with your highest vision. This inner faith, this choice to trust in the unseen, becomes a profound act of courage and wisdom, one that carries you through any appearance, any obstacle, and allows you to shape a reality that reflects the deepest truths within you. In a world where we often seek answers from external sources, friends, experts, books, and even technology, it's easy to forget the power and presence of an infinite source within us, a divine intelligence that holds solutions to every question and every challenge we face. This source is God, the unchanging presence that sustains all of life, transcending the limitations of human knowledge and understanding. When we turn inward and recognize God as the source of all solutions, we tap into an endless wellspring of wisdom, clarity, and guidance that transcends what the outer world can offer. God as the source is a reminder that every challenge we encounter carries within it a divine answer waiting to unfold. This presence within does not view situations as problems, but as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. When we place our faith in God as the ultimate provider of solutions, we shift from a state of anxiety and desperation to one of peace and trust. The outer world may present complications, obstacles, or uncertainty, but when we turn to this inner source, we find answers that resonate with our deepest needs, aligning us with outcomes that are often far more profound and complete than what we could have envisioned. One of the remarkable aspects of recognizing God as the source of all solutions is that we begin to release the habit of striving and forcing our way through life. We come to understand that, while human effort has its place, it is not the ultimate force behind our achievements or success. When we rely solely on our own understanding, we often limit ourselves to what we already know, confining possibilities within the narrow scope of our experiences and assumptions. But God's wisdom is boundless, unrestricted by human logic or limitations. So, trusting in this divine source frees us from the pressure of having to figure everything out on our own, inviting us to surrender and allow solutions to reveal themselves in ways we may not have anticipated. This understanding requires a shift in perception, where we recognize that true solutions come not through constant analysis or mental struggle, but through stillness, faith, and receptivity. When we quiet our minds and open our hearts to God's guidance, we create space for divine solutions to emerge. This space is essential, for it allows us to perceive answers that we might overlook in the noise and busyness of daily life. In moments of stillness, we find that the presence of God gently reveals insights, ideas, and perspectives that offer a way forward, often in unexpected ways. It is important to note that God's solutions may not always align with our initial expectations. We may seek immediate relief from a difficult situation, hoping for a specific outcome, but God's wisdom sees beyond our immediate desires. Sometimes, a challenge persists not as a punishment or failure, but as an opportunity for deeper transformation. Trusting God as the source of all solutions means accepting that divine timing and purpose often extend beyond our immediate understanding. When we surrender our rigid expectations, we allow God's perfect solution to unfold in its own time, bringing a depth of resolution that fulfills us in ways we may not have foreseen. Furthermore, by recognizing God as the source, we cultivate a sense of peace and confidence that no challenge is too great. Whether facing issues in relationships, health, finances, or purpose, we know that there is a divine intelligence within us that already holds the answer. This inner knowing brings a profound sense of security, for we are no longer swayed by the changing conditions of the outer world. We understand that the same source that created and sustains the universe also guides and sustains us, providing for us in every moment. When we practice seeing God as the source of all solutions, we also come to appreciate the interconnectedness of life. We realize that our answers are often found not in isolation but through relationships, experiences, and the natural flow of life. God's guidance can appear through unexpected encounters, subtle nudges, or synchronistic events that steer us in the right direction. Our role is not to force solutions, but to remain open, attentive, and responsive to the subtle ways in which God's wisdom reveals itself. This openness invites a sense of gratitude as we begin to see that every experience, every interaction has the potential to lead us closer to the answers we seek. Relying on God as the source of all solutions also deepens our compassion for others, for we recognize that just as we are guided, so is everyone else. We see that each person has within them the same divine source, and this understanding fosters a sense of unity and empathy. We are all walking a journey where divine wisdom is available to each of us, encouraging us to support one another, knowing that the same presence guiding us is guiding others as well. In a world where uncertainty and challenges are a part of life, knowing that God is the ultimate source of solutions brings peace, strength, and purpose. We no longer need to fear the unknown or rely solely on our own limited understanding. Instead, we learn to trust that the answers we seek are already present within us, accessible through faith, surrender, and openness to divine guidance. This trust becomes a guiding light, illuminating our path even in the midst of difficulty, reminding us that we are never alone and that the wisdom of God is with us always, providing exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. In our lives, we are often conditioned to believe that control is the key to security, success, and happiness. We are taught to carefully manage every detail, to plan for every outcome, and to anticipate any possible obstacles along the way. However, in this pursuit of control, we often find ourselves entangled in worry, stress, and exhaustion. We attempt to force outcomes, striving to bend life to our will, believing that if we can only arrange things perfectly, we will find peace. Yet, paradoxically, true peace, freedom, and fulfillment come not from control, but from letting go and embracing trust in a deeper, wiser force that guides all things. Letting go of control means releasing our attachment to specific outcomes and allowing life to move in unexpected directions. Often we cling tightly to particular visions of success, happiness, or fulfillment, convinced that only through these will we find contentment. But when we insist on one rigid path, we may miss out on the countless other possibilities that could bring us equal or even greater joy. Trusting in the unfolding of life is about recognizing that, while we may not always get what we think we want, we will always be guided toward what we truly need. Sometimes the very obstacles or detours we resist are essential steps on the journey to something far more meaningful. Trust is not passive, it is a dynamic state of openness, receptivity, and faith. To trust in the flow of life is to understand that there is an order beyond appearances, a purpose behind every event, even those that seem challenging or painful. When we resist life's natural unfolding, we create unnecessary tension and block the very blessings that are trying to come our way. But when we relax our grip, we allow life to move through us, and in that flow we find solutions, insights, and opportunities that would have been hidden from a state of fear or control. Releasing control also brings a profound sense of peace. When we are no longer consumed by the need to manage every detail, we are free to be fully present in the moment. We find that our minds are quieter, our hearts lighter, and our bodies more at ease. Trusting life's flow alleviates the burden of trying to solve every problem in advance. We come to understand that, by cultivating an inner state of peace and openness, we become receptive to the answers we need, which often come not through struggle, but through grace. Of course, releasing control does not mean giving up responsibility or ignoring practical action. It is about finding balance, doing our part, but leaving space for the divine to work. It is about setting intentions, making decisions, and taking action from a place of calm confidence, while allowing the journey to unfold without clinging to specific results. When we approach life with trust, we can remain flexible and resilient, adapting to changes with grace, knowing that every twist and turn is part of the greater path. To release control and embrace trust is to recognize that life is a partnership with something larger than ourselves. It is about aligning our will with divine will, finding comfort in the knowledge that we are held, supported, and guided at every step. This trust is not based on guarantees of a specific outcome, but on a deep, abiding faith that whatever unfolds will serve our highest growth and purpose. In this faith we find liberation from fear and anxiety, embracing each moment with gratitude, curiosity, and a sense of wonder. When we let go of the need to control and instead open ourselves to trust, life becomes a dance, a rhythm of giving and receiving, of action and surrender. We come to realize that true power lies not in forcing outcomes, but in allowing life to move through us in its own wise and perfect way. And in that realization we find the peace, joy, and fulfillment that we sought all along, resting in the assurance that we are part of something greater, something inherently good, guiding us toward our truest, fullest expression. To align with the divine is to live in harmony with the universal intelligence that pervades all of existence. This divine presence, often called God, Source, or Spirit, is the creative force behind every aspect of life, guiding each of us toward our highest potential. When we consciously align with this presence, we move beyond the limitations of our individual will and ego, allowing ourselves to be guided by a wisdom that is far greater than our own. This alignment brings a profound sense of peace, purpose, and clarity, as we come to realize that we are not separate, struggling entities, but integral parts of a vast, loving intelligence that supports and sustains us. Aligning with the divine begins with an inner shift, a decision to turn inward and recognize that this presence is not distant or abstract, but is, in fact, within us. It is the breath that sustains us, the love that fuels us, and the wisdom that inspires us. By cultivating an awareness of this inner divinity, we begin to see beyond the surface level of life. realizing that there is a higher order and purpose guiding every moment, every experience. This awareness transforms our perspective, allowing us to approach life with greater trust, knowing that everything, even the challenges we face, serves a purpose in our spiritual growth. One of the key elements of aligning with the divine is learning to listen to the voice within. This voice, often referred to as intuition, is the means through which the divine speaks to us. It is a quiet, persistent sense of knowing, a gentle nudge that guides us toward choices that are in alignment with our true nature. To hear this voice, however, we must cultivate stillness. The noise and busyness of daily life can drown out this inner guidance, leaving us feeling disconnected and adrift. But when we take time to quiet our minds, we make space for this divine wisdom to emerge, offering insights and directions that are in harmony with our deepest purpose. Aligning with the divine also involves surrender, a willingness to let go of rigid control and allow life to flow as it is meant to. This does not mean passivity or inaction, but rather a release of the ego's need to dictate every outcome. Surrendering to the divine means trusting that there is a larger plan at work, one that may not always align with our immediate desires, but will ultimately lead to our highest good. When we let go of the need to control, we open ourselves to possibilities that are far greater than what we could have imagined, allowing the divine to work through us in ways that elevate not only our own lives but the lives of those around us. This surrender is often misunderstood as weakness, but it is in fact an act of profound strength and courage. It requires us to set aside our fears and anxieties, our doubts and insecurities, and place our trust in something greater than ourselves. This trust allows us to move forward with confidence and grace, knowing that even if we cannot see the whole picture, the divine is guiding each step of the way. It liberates us from the constant mental struggle of what if, and allows us to rest in the assurance that we are held, supported, and led by a presence that knows exactly what we need and when we need it. When we align with the divine, our actions begin to flow from a place of love, compassion, and authenticity. We no longer act out of fear, insecurity, or the need for validation. Instead, we act from a deep sense of inner knowing, guided by the values and principles that resonate with our highest self. This alignment empowers us to make choices that are not only beneficial for ourselves, but also for those around us, creating a ripple effect of positive energy and upliftment. Our relationships deepen, our work becomes more meaningful, and our lives take on a sense of purpose and fulfillment that transcends material success. Aligning with the divine brings a sense of unity and interconnectedness with all of life. We begin to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, recognizing that our actions and intentions have an impact beyond our individual lives. This understanding fosters a sense of responsibility and stewardship, inspiring us to act in ways that honor and respect the earth, our communities, and future generations. We come to understand that our individual well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of all, and we feel called to contribute to a world that reflects the divine qualities of love, peace, and harmony. In aligning with the divine, we step into the fullness of who we are meant to be. We become channels for love, wisdom, and healing, bringing light to the world around us. This alignment transforms our lives from a series of disconnected events into a purposeful journey, each moment woven together by the thread of divine intention. We move from striving to be something to embracing who we already are, divine beings expressing the fullness of life itself. In this realization, we find a peace that transcends circumstance, a joy that is unshaken by external events, and a love that encompasses all of creation. And in this alignment, we fulfill our deepest purpose to live in harmony with the divine as expressions of its boundless, everlasting grace. Living as if it's already resolved is a powerful shift in perspective that brings peace, clarity, and a quiet confidence to our lives. Instead of waiting for circumstances to change, for challenges to be solved, or for desires to be fulfilled, we assume the feeling of resolution, embodying a state where we believe, without question, that everything we seek is already achieved. This isn't about pretending or ignoring reality, it's about choosing to live from a place of faith, trusting that all things are unfolding perfectly, even if we cannot yet see how. This approach invites us to engage with life not as something to fix or chase, but as something to embrace and flow with, knowing that the solutions we seek already exist within us. To live as if it's already resolved, we must first cultivate the habit of self-assurance, grounding ourselves in the conviction that every challenge holds its own answer, and that every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. This inner certainty comes from shifting our focus from the problem to the solution, from worry to faith, from anxiety to trust. In doing so, we create an internal environment that allows us to tap into clarity, intuition, and insight, qualities that are difficult to access when we are consumed by fear and doubt. Living from this place does not eliminate all external challenges, but it does empower us to face them with grace and resilience, transforming what could be burdensome struggles into opportunities for growth. One of the most profound aspects of this approach is that it encourages us to align our actions with our beliefs. When we believe that something is already resolved, we naturally start to act from that conviction. We make decisions not from a place of fear or desperation, but from a sense of calm confidence. Our actions become more purposeful and aligned with our highest intentions, reflecting the state of resolution we've embraced internally. Rather than feeling pressured to make things happen, we allow life to unfold, trusting that we are in the right place at the right time. This shift in action invites synchronicities, opportunities, and connections that resonate with our new state of being. Another key to living as if it's already resolved is practicing gratitude not just for what we currently have, but for the resolution we trust is already on its way. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing to what's present, opening our eyes to the ways in which life is supporting us, often in subtle but profound ways. When we cultivate gratitude for what we seek, even before it arrives, we elevate our energy, aligning with the outcome we desire. This practice helps us see that often our desired outcomes are closer than we think, as gratitude itself draws to us the experiences and people that reflect our highest aspirations. Living as if it's already resolved also calls us to release our attachment to specific outcomes. Often, we become fixated on a particular version of success or resolution, narrowing our view and creating stress when life doesn't go as planned. But when we surrender the need for exact outcomes, we make room for life to surprise us, for solutions to emerge that we may not have anticipated. This doesn't mean we abandon our goals or desires, but that we trust in the highest outcome, even if it differs from our initial expectations. In letting go, we create space for possibilities that may be even better than what we originally imagined. An essential part of this journey is cultivating patience. Living as if it's already resolved doesn't mean we expect instant results. It means we rest in the faith that all things come in their due time. Patience allows us to move through life with ease, undisturbed by temporary delays or setbacks. Instead of pushing or forcing, we flow with the natural rhythm of life, confident that our path is unfolding perfectly. This patience is rooted in the understanding that the timing of the universe often operates differently than our own, yet it is always aligned with our best interests. Living as if it's already resolved transforms our relationships. When we embody the energy of resolution, we radiate calm, trust, and compassion, qualities that positively impact those around us. We become a source of stability, reassurance, and support, inspiring others to approach their own challenges with a similar sense of inner peace. Our interactions become less about seeking validation or approval, and more about sharing the space of peace we have cultivated within ourselves.